Welcome back to the dumbest bill in America. We have, of course, with us Delegate Brian Chisholm. Welcome back, Brian.
Good to be here.
We're calling this podcast False Prophets. Yes, Profits, Brian.
Okay.
False Prophets, yes. Why are we calling it False Prophets? Because Amber Kwas in New York City just won a state Senate seat representing part of New York City to New York State. She won it in the primary, which means she's going to win because it's an overwhelmingly Democrat, district. And most people that live in that district, of course, are Democrats, to be fair. She thinks 9/11 is America's fault, Brian.
Oh.
So we have a clip on this. And this is Amber Kwas talking to a group of people. And Blue Lives Matter in New York put this up. Here it is.
And finding that, the system of capitalism and racism and white supremacy, etc., and Islamophobia have all been used, to colonize lands, right, to take resources from other people. And so this is like a long trajectory. And we're just seeing the manifestations of that continuation, right, with 9/11. And so a lot of times when people are asking us to respond about, attack, right, if you look back, historically, right, a lot of us come from lands that were colonized, lands where wars are being waged, right? A lot of times because of U.S. policy or the policies in Europe. And so I find that we can connect over that, but then also that the idea that we have to apologize for a terror attack that a couple of people did, and then there is no apologies or reparations for genocides and for slavery, etc., is something that I kind of find reprehensible.
Brian, what do you think?
Well, I guess it's our fault for building that skyscraper and putting 3,000 innocent Americans in it. And that's sick. It really is sick to me. And I think it's going to make a lot of people sick.
Mm-hmm.
It just...
Of all places in New York City, she gets elected.
Yes. I mean, and we're talking about a historical perspective. I mean, we're talking about 25 years ago was 9/11. And we saw so many lives lost. People are still affected by it today, right? I mean, it just is all around you. You don't know anybody that you can't talk to in America that doesn't remember the day. They can describe what it was like that morning, where they were, all of that stuff.
I was on a plane the morning of 9/11.
Yeah, and for her to come
talk about fortunate
and call it a couple of pilots is sick. And it's like, my question is, they always say when you're in a hole, first thing you do is put down the shovel. And it seems like the Democrat Party just wants to keep grabbing shovels and digging deeper and deeper and deeper. And the thing that really scares me, Mark, is we know in the state of Maryland, they love to say, well, they're already doing this in California, or they're already doing this in New York. And so we're always following their lead. And if she's a state legislator in New York, she's going to be enacting laws that we're going to want to follow along with.
Yes. And that's one of the reasons, Brian, and podcast listeners, we do this dumbest bill in America, because we're exposing not just the dumb bills and the crazy bills and the insane bills, but we're exposing how crazy the Democrat Party has become. So let me ask you a question, Brian, and I think the podcast listeners probably know the answer already. What Democrat nationwide or in New York has come out, or in Maryland has come out and condemned this individual for saying what she said, that 9/11 was the fault of America, which is basically saying we deserved it.
Yeah.
No one's come out.
Well,
nobody.
Yeah. Well,
nobody.
Why didn't the interviewer? I don't know who she was being interviewed there, but why did they ask the question? What did America do to deserve that? What did America do to have those planes hijacked and taken down in a field in Pennsylvania and crashed into the Pentagon and then killing all the lives in New York City? What did America do? What did those innocent lives do? And that's why I think you call it false prophets. None of this adds up, right?
Right.
None of it. It is based in lies. It is complete falsehoods.
Yes.
And it's being perpetrated by people that are now in charge of other people's lives in the very city where this atrocity happened, and being told it's your fault.
Exactly. And Brian, the thing is we're being asked by the Democrat Party to not believe our eyes, to not believe what we saw on 9/11. We're being asked by the Democrat Party in Maryland as well. Don't believe your eyes when you open your electricity bill, even though they caused the problem. We're being told by the Democrats in Maryland, don't believe your eyes when you open your car registration bill, because, it's not really true. And they didn't cause it, even though they, of course, caused it. again and again and again, they have been lying about all these things. And at what point does the Democrat Party stand up and say, you know what, we actually are pro-American. We want you to have a better life. And part of that is letting you keep your own money and being truthful. But when it comes to this particular individual who ran in the state Senate and has now won the primary, I mean, what are they supposed to do? As you said, what kind of legislation is she going to put in now, knowing that she's absolutely insane?
Well, that's a good question. So if she really believes this, what type of legislation is she going to put in to correct those wrongs? If it was America's fault, if it's white supremacy, if it's colonialism, whatever it might be, what type of laws does she want to see put on the books to right those wrongs that she has said created the problem on 9/11? Is she going to punish all white people?
Well, here's an idea, Brian. You know, she's a woman, and I'm assuming she's a Muslim by the way she's dressed. I'm just assuming, okay? And she won this seat. Could she have gotten elected in the country from where she's ultimately came from, or from where her parents came from? Could she have? Or is she a convert? I don't really know. I mean, I don't think anyone really knows. But the fact of the matter is her life here is far better than it would ever be in one of those other countries. But yet, America is bad. This is the sickness of the mind, in my opinion, and the broken Democrat Party is just being consumed by crazy people. Final say.
Yeah, so in America, obviously, we had an immigration problem. We still have an immigration problem because people want to come in here seeking what, Mark? They want to seek freedom.
And rule of law.
And that bothers other countries because they run a different system. They run a system top down. So they figure, well, nobody really, if America's so daggone bad, why doesn't she freaking leave?
Right.
Just go to hell back, please.
And she may be a convert. I don't know. I'm not really sure.
What she wants to do is take those evil government forms from other countries and bring them here, because we're not taking people from here and leaving seeking freedom. Nobody leaves here seeking more freedom, do they? They just don't.
That's a fact. They never want to go back.
People come in here seeking freedom and opportunity. And what she want to do? No, that is wrong. And I'm going to quash out all freedom, all opportunity, all ways of life that we cherish. That's what she wants to do. And she's saying it in her own words. And listen, Mark, you and I talk about this. This is what bothers so many people about the podcast you and I do. We're using their own words. We're using them and what they say, and they don't want the public to see it half the time.
And their own legislation.
Their own legislation. Right. They hate it. Wait, you should be proud of it. If you believe communism and socialism and your bullshit legislation, take it to the street and sell it.
Exactly. And it's literally like you read the legislation and we talk about it on the podcast, and we provide a critique and humor and satire, right? All of which is part of free speech.
Yeah.
And, we do it on the campaign side, and we do all the things correctly. And what I find remarkable is there are individuals who are like, don't shed any light on this. Instead, we're going to erase you from the face of the earth by changing Maryland's constitution and gerrymandering and getting rid of everybody. I know I'm going off subject, but it's the truth. That's what they're doing. Final say, bro.
Yeah, I mean, it's as simple as they're gagging. They want to gag you. They want to gag any opposition voice, whether it's yours, mine, Andy Harris, Donald Trump. God forbid he says anything out loud. They hate any. I mean,
exactly.
You shouldn't be allowed to speak. You shouldn't have your own opinion. You shouldn't give in those freedoms. You should just trust us to run your life and shut the hell up.
Exactly. Meanwhile, the Democrat Party is electing an individual to the New York State Senate, okay? Amber Quass, who won the primary, which means she's going to win the general in New York City. And she thinks that 9/11 is America's fault. Final thoughts, Brian, on this?
I mean, there's really no thoughts. I mean, that's just evil thinking. It's sick.
Yes.
It's sad. And to me, it's just disgusting is all it is.
And that's the dumbest bill in America. False prophets seem to be on the Democrat side. See you next time.